became friends and saw each other in DC this year.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So welcome everybody to the August edition of Mastermind Monday for the New England Region Residential Real Estate Council. I'm Lisa Parento, your current president, and I'm super excited that you've all taken the time. We know your time is very valuable. Thank you so much. And as always, our CTO, Christine McClellan, who's here with us, will be posting this on, actually, she's the membership chair, but I always call her our CTO. She'll be posting this on our YouTube channel for people to share and review later, which is always super fantastic. I want to thank Nora Lynch Smith, who is on the call. She is your 2023 president, your current president-elect. Michelle Hagstrom, who is the finance co-chair. Let's see. Thank you, Cheryl DiGirolamo, who is our immediate past president. Corinne Costanzo is our network director for Cape Cod. And I think that looks like the leadership team that's on right now. Let me say Pam Ruggeroli is our guest today. And Pam, let me just mention that this has been 30 minutes for almost 3 years, and people will still come on at 12:25. I'm not even kidding you. I mean, I say that every week, every month, and then it happens again. So, everyone just pops in. We've tried to have this be kind of a casual little cafe chat. It's turned into, more of that kind of thing in this third year. But anyway, I just want to take just a moment to thank you again personally. I know you are in Chicago at a leadership event. Your calendar, I'm sure, continues to look like something you do not recognize. And it will look even more like that in the next year as you become the national president of the Residential Real Estate Council. So we just want to take an opportunity to get to know you a little bit and hear a little bit about some of your plans. And so I would love to introduce Pam Ruggeroli from Tucson, Arizona. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate it. Lisa asked me months ago to be on the mastermind, and I did calendar it and promptly forgot all about it. And when she contacted me last week, I said, well, I'm at NAR Leadership Summit in Chicago that day. So I just left hundreds of realtors in a room from all over the country. And it's been a great morning. It's been awesome with Kenny Purcell, incoming president. Ride with the brand is the theme this year, and it's going to be a fabulous year. But talking about schedules and never knowing where you have to be and when, and all of a sudden you get thrown for a loop. Holly and I got a invitation from NAR leadership last week to be in Bucharest, Romania, mid-September. Just like Bucharest. Wow. So, and that's not Zoom. That's live and in person. So thank you so much for having me. And just, would you like me to give you an update of upcoming events, or what are you looking for, Lisa?
Sure.
I've
Well,
got
so
two
yeah,
things.
excellent. Yeah. So to start, tell us a little bit about you, and kind of who you are and where you work. And then, yeah, if you want to give us some updates. And then I've got some kind of, interviewee podcasty questions that I'm happy to share as well. So yeah, just we just want to get to know you, and also maybe what we can look forward to, both from the RRC national level and also what you're gleaning this week. That's great to have that update. That's super.
Oh, you bet. You bet. So Pam Ruggeroli, I'm from Tucson, Arizona, or I live in Tucson, Arizona. I'm originally from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm a second generation realtor. My mom was CRS president for the state of Nevada in the 80s. I became a realtor in 01 and earned my designation in 05. And in 2007, a local CRS invited me to get involved and become their treasurer. And which I didn't know that meant 2 years later, I'd be president of the state of Arizona. I served 4 years as a regional vice president for Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Had an absolute blast serving RRC on that level. And then in 2015, I met a gentleman by the name of John Smaby. If you guys don't know him, he was our 2019 NAR president. And he asked me to be part of this realtor party team in 2019. So I took a little detour from CRS and became his participation council chair for RPAC and traveled all over the country. One of my trips was to Boston to speak at one of your luncheons. So that was a really fun, exciting year. And then the last time I was actually on your mastermind, it's hard to believe it was over 3 years ago, was when I was running for first vice president for RRC. And here I am today. I'm really excited. It's been an amazing journey, serving with Alex and Holly and now Trisha. And then we've got Vivian Macias coming up in 23. So it's been an amazing journey. And I always, when it comes to volunteer work, if somebody asks me to volunteer, I ask myself two questions. Do I have something to contribute? And can I make a difference? And that's why I'm here today.
I love that. I love that. So, I'm gonna put a pin in a question that's directly related to that, but I thought, do you want to share some of the stuff that's kind of going on right
Yeah.
now out at leadership? That would be great. And then I'm gonna go back to what you just said about volunteering.
So Leadership Summit, for those of you that haven't attended before, every incoming president and their AE or CEO is invited to attend Leadership Summit for a day and a half. And that's where the incoming president for NAR and his leadership team talk about, ways you can help your association, member benefits that you can provide. There's motivational speakers. We heard an amazing speaker this morning that was just very inspiring, who shouldn't even be alive today and is just very grateful for every day that he has. So it's really good stuff. They talked about the national ad campaign so far, and I'm only about 3 hours in this morning. So I'm sure I've got, a full afternoon and then half day tomorrow. So I'm sure I'll learn a lot more. Can I just give a couple of updates on CRS?
Please, please. Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, we have CRS Week coming up September 19th through the 23rd. It will kick off on that Monday morning with a coffee chat with current President Holly Woodward. And then there's a webinar each day, which will be replayed in the afternoon. If for some reason you can't make it in the morning, they will all be recorded so you can listen to them at any time. And then also in the afternoon, our staff, I think 4 out of 5 days, is getting updates on like member benefits and why to advertise on CRS, find a CRS and online advertising, etc. So make sure you tune in for that. Again, everything will be recorded. I highly recommend that you see it and attend that. And then just I want to remind everybody that our annual meetings are in Orlando this year. We'll be at the Hilton Orlando. The NAR dates are the 9th through the 13th, and our CRS meetings are the 9th through the 12th. And we have switched our installation and awards this year. Instead of it being on Saturday night at the end of our week, it is going to be on Friday night. So a lot of people came to me and said, Pam, that's the same night as Universal Studios Night Out. NAR does a big night out for us, right? So what we've done is we've moved up the installation and awards, and we're going to start at 5 p.m. instead of 6:30. And so the installation awards will be 5 to 6:30 p.m. And then the networking dinner will be from 6:30 to 8. And Universal Studios Night Out starts at 7:30 to 11:30. So everybody can go get on their casual clothes and run over to Universal Studios. So we're trying to accommodate everything. There's a lot going on every single night, and it's really hard to not have conflicts, but that was the best we could do to make sure that the people that wanted to go to Universal would have an opportunity to do so.
That's awesome. I know it usually bumps up against our pack. I mean, you cannot make a decision that makes everybody happy about NAR,
Yeah,
but
we usually conflict with the major investor event on
right,
Saturday too.
right.
So, and we have a huge percentage of our volunteer leaders are major investors and want to attend that as well. So this year they'll have an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I know we just did an event with EXP at shareholders, and they took Universal over. And it'll be okay to get there half an hour after the whole crush of people try to get in. When you have the park, the problem is, I was at NAR when I did it before. The problem is once you have someone rent out Universal for you, you could never go back to Universal and stand in the lines with people. This will be my third time that the whole place has been rented out, and you get like so spoiled because sometimes they literally, you're on a ride and they go, hey, you want to go around twice? And you'll be like, okay. And you just stay on the ride. So that will be exciting. Thank you so much for finding a way to make that concession for us. Absolutely.
You
So
bet.
let me go back yet to volunteering. An interesting question. So what is a commonly held belief that you hear about volunteering, maybe association volunteering, that you really disagree with?
That I disagree with.
Hmm.
Probably one of the most common things I hear is that leaders have agendas.
Hmm.
And I don't believe that. If you are a true heart led volunteer, you don't have an agenda. It's not about you, it's about whoever you serve. And, I'm sure there are some leaders that have agendas, but I just don't believe that anybody would get into a leadership role for that reason only. So, does that answer your question? I think that's the
Yeah.
one I hear the most.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's really great. I think it's a good reminder too that as you stay in volunteer leadership, it continues to be about what your purpose is, in some way serving the member of whatever piece of the association that is. And it's a good reminder every time you get, at least I'll speak for myself, every time I get kind of at a crossroads, I stop and say, wait a second, what's the best thing for the member? And you know what the next right thing to do is immediately,
It's like, why am I here and who am I serving? And like I told you before, unless I have something to contribute and I can make a difference, I won't get involved in anything leadership wise. Or I'll help them find somebody else that I think is better suited for that role. And I'll give you a prime example of that. Years ago, I was asked to sit on our government affairs committee at our local association. And after a couple of meetings, I realized this just isn't the highest and best use of my time. This isn't my wheelhouse. And so I went to our government affairs director and told him, I said, I think I'd be better served on professional development. And so I switched gears. And now I actually chair our government affairs committee this year. So sometimes things come full circle. And it wasn't until 2015 when I really learned the importance of the Realtor Party and the effect that we have on our profession and the clients we serve. Did I understand the importance of advocacy? So I have come around and I am now chairing that committee. But yeah, just, serve with a purpose, serve with your heart. Um, I love this council. I'm passionate about this council, and I'm a member driven leader. And so is Holly, so is Trisha. And I haven't gotten to know Vivian as well, but I'm sure she is too. And I'm really excited to serve with all of them next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you just said about if you do find yourself on a committee that may not be your wheelhouse or in some kind of a volunteer appointment or committee, that it's also would be an amazing service to try to find a replacement if
Mhm,
you are stepping off, because
mhm.
that's something we always struggle with, right? Is continuing to tap others. That old adage, the minute you take a role, find your replacement, at least in
Mhm.
your mind, so that you can start to bring another person along for that role, because it gets scary as leaders. I know Cheryl and I, Cheryl DiGirolamo and I, at one point, when we went back in the day, I forget the year, it's probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, most of our direct leadership team here in New England all moved on to other opportunities at the same time. Gary Rogers became chair of NAR in Boston. Kurt Thompson became an RVP for Residential Real Estate Council. Darlene Sodano had timed out for 2 years. Who am I missing, Cheryl? I think those are three big. And Cheryl and I both kind of stood around going like, where is everybody? I mean, we had each other, but we didn't have any institutional knowledge, or there wasn't sort of that. They love them all, but they did not drag their replacement in before they before they went on to bigger and better things. And that's tough when you're left kind of just
Mhm.
wandering around. And we
Yeah,
uh,
one of your number one roles as a leader is to find a replacement. right? And tap somebody on the shoulder, invite them in, encourage them. And you can make a huge difference in people's lives by doing that.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So, uh, kind of along that career line, if you were kind of looking back on your younger self, what would you suggest that someone do to have some real success as a realtor? If you look back at where you started, now you were, it was interesting for you because you were at least a second generation realtor, but um, many are not, and especially many in the profession now, when it looked like, woo, this is so easy. Let me be a realtor. Many people that jumped into it in the past 2 years really could use some of that wisdom. So share with us something that you would say is super critical to success.
So, first of all, I am a second generation realtor, but I swore I'd never be a realtor. And here I am. So, I was a dental hygienist for 15 years and lost my ability to do that. I injured my arm. And it wasn't until somebody saw something in me that I didn't see in myself that he tapped me on the shoulder and invited me to become a realtor. And he made a huge difference in my life. And I think I don't like to say younger, but I like to say the newer generation of realtors. Because I look back at myself and I was 39, I think, when I got into real estate. And, if you look at our average age members, I guess that is considered younger, but it wasn't like I was 18 and becoming a realtor, right? So let's focus on the newer generation of realtors. And what I think they're missing the most, honestly, is professional development. A majority of the realtors, let's face it, we've got less than 30,000 members, and yet NER is 1.5 million members strong, but we only have less than 30,000 designees. People that are newer in the real estate business do not value professional development, certifications. I wouldn't be where I am today had I not immediately ABR, GRI, CRS. And for me, it was monkey see, monkey do, right? My mom had those designations on her card. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be a good realtor, I have to have those designations on my card. And if I want to be the best of the best, I need to earn my CRS designation. It took me 4 years to do so, but it made such a huge impact on my business that if there was anything I could tell a newer generation realtor is get your education, get involved. I didn't volunteer because it would take me where I am today. It just happened. Life took paths and I followed them. And I'm just so proud of where I am today. And I wouldn't have been there had somebody not encouraged me to do so.
I love that, and I think it's continues to be more and more important as we have so many newer people to the profession, not younger, as you're saying,
Mhm.
and that really don't understand the difference that this can make. I mean, I totally agree with you. If I hadn't been told to become a CRS, I didn't even know what it was, but my first coach told me to do it. I was like, okay, and that's when I walked into that first luncheon and met my people. I just saw from the minute I walked into that first luncheon, I knew I was in the right place,
And we
and
have the ability to have that same impact on so many other realtors. Just ask, include them, invite them. It's not like you're selling something. Just invite them in, and they'll see. It's really about the people. It really truly is.
yeah, that's for sure. We know. So I'm going to switch to personal more a little bit and ask you a couple of questions that are just for fun. So, Pam, if you were going to write a book, what would it be about? What kind of book would it be, and what would it be about?
Oh, good question. I love motivational books, so I would probably write something inspirational and about never giving up. I was in church one day and the pastor was talking about the speed bumps of life. And he's like, you go down a road, you hit a pothole, or there's a speed bump and you have to slow down. But guess what you do? When you get over it or through it, you speed up and take off again, right? Same thing in life. Every single one of us have had setbacks. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, not only in life, but in business, right? So we have the ability to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and march on. So it would be about perseverance, never giving up, being consistent and persistent, and giving back. I mean, giving makes my heart sing. I love to give. I love to help others, and it would probably be about all of those things.
Ooh, I think you should think about that. I think you should think about writing one. You could
I don't
start it
know.
as an
I might have
ebook.
to hire my daughter to be my writer, though. She's a much better writer than I am.
An illustrator, as we all know from our fabulous. My picture on my business webpage is still that picture that she did for me. So
Yeah, that's
that was
actually my daughter-in-law.
okay. You've got a lot of
My
talented
father is
gals.
great at graphics. My daughter is great at writing.
You've got the whole team already there. That is fantastic.
Mhm.
Lastly, and then I want to open it up to some questions from the group. What's one of your favorite things to do if you have a day off? When you take a day off, which I hope you do.
Uh, I very rarely take a day off. I mean, we're realtors. I mean, is there ever a full day where we don't answer text messages, phone calls, emails, whatever? So to actually get a full day off, that just never happens. But when I do, I love to hang out with friends. I love to travel and go from any place that has beach. I love the beach, and my happy place is in Kauai, Hawaii. So anybody in Kauai that wants to invite me to come speak, I'm all in. I won't think twice about it. And I also, I know this sounds kind of weird, but for relaxation at the end of the day, I puzzle.
Hmm.
I love to do puzzles.
So you mean jigsaw puzzles, or do you mean like Sudoku type puzzles?
No, they're jigsaw puzzles. I have a
Okay.
big table in my living room, and I've got one of those science boards so I can take it out and put it away when I need to. And it has to be a puzzle that is interesting to me. I won't just do a puzzle to do a puzzle. So, but yeah, and it sometimes takes me 6 months to finish one. Yeah, because I do it just a little bit here and a little bit there. It's not like I sit down and puzzle for hours. Who has time for that, right? So yeah, so hanging out with friends, traveling anywhere that has a beach, and doing puzzles.
Okay, then since you opened the puzzle door, I'm going to ask, what is the largest puzzle that you've ever done, and then the hardest puzzle you've ever done? Or maybe it's
I
the same. It might be the
I
same.
never do more than 1,000. That's like my
Mhm.
steady. I do 1,000. And probably the hardest one, it was a balloon one. I don't know if anybody's ever been to New Mexico for the balloon festival,
Mhm.
but this was a balloon puzzle where there was no space in between the balloons. They were just all together. There was no background. And so lots of the same colors. So that one was a really tough one, but it was really fun. And you just feel so like you did something amazing at the end of it all, but then you have to just break it up and throw it away. So I don't
Do you
throw it away.
ever
I
save,
give it
do you
away.
ever save them? Yeah, do you ever save them?
I have boxes and boxes of puzzles. Yeah. But I don't ever save them fully made.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
No, no, I've thought about it. I did a really fun baseball one. It was like American and baseball. My whole house is decorated in Americana, red, white, and blue everywhere. As a matter of fact, I had my daughter's friends over when she was in high school for. I used to make chili for Halloween every year, and one of her new friends came over and she asked my daughter. She goes, "Why does your mom still have all of her Fourth of July decorations?" So I did do a baseball Americana one that I thought about framing, and then I just never did it.
Oh, that's amazing. That's been so amazing. I'd love to ask you about some trends as we look forward, but I want to open it up to others that are here today. Please just raise your hand or jump in if you have any questions for Pam.
No hard questions, okay? Just easy ones.
I have one, Pam. It's Nora. Where are
Huh?
you going to Romania for? My mother was actually born in
Oh,
Romania.
I'm not 100% sure we're going, but we did get invited to join Kenny Parcell and Tracy Casper. It's a global event that they're having in Bucharest, Romania. I don't have all the details, but it's like a 19-hour flight there. So from Phoenix, Arizona, I would go to Chicago and then to London and then to Bucharest. So when I have more details, I'll let you know. So we're still not 100% we're going, but it was really nice of them to include us in this really big global event that they're doing.
Absolutely. It would be so amazing if you could go professionally, personally for RRC, but also just, to expand your own soul. That would be so amazing for sure.
Yeah. I mean, what a great opportunity, and so great that the leaders included us at the level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really fantastic. Other questions?
I see somebody in the chat box. Was that Cheryl asked
Cheryl. Yeah, please do.
asked about celebration. So this is our 35-year anniversary. It's 35 years of inspiration, and that's February 8th through 10th in Atlanta, Georgia. We do not have all speakers set yet. We have a few openings. I personally wanted Bethany Hamilton. If you guys don't know who she is, she's the girl that wrote the book Soul Surfer. She was a shark bit her arm off, and I had an opportunity to meet her back when she was a 13-year-old girl, and now she does motivational speaking. Unfortunately, she was booked that time, so we have 3 or 4 front runners for our keynote motivational speakers. But if you guys have any suggestions of who you'd like to see, please send them to me, because we are definitely trying to narrow that down here shortly.
Excellent. I know Michelle has got her hand raised. Michelle, please jump in.
So you had mentioned that we've got less than 30,000 CRS designees. So locally, what do you offer for suggestions on how we can increase that membership?
So in your region, you mean, locally? Yeah. Okay. Anybody you have a cross transaction with, look them up, see if they're a CRS. If they aren't, educate them, ask them, include them. That's all they want. Everybody on this call and every leader I've ever met are involved because somebody asked. So that's where I would start, with people in cross transactions, people in your office, encourage them. Our broker, it's the only designation that they highlight on our information internally, on our company information. And we have a huge number in our company that are CRS designees, because that is the one that they promote. And so I find ways to promote them, acknowledge them, and frankly, just ask and include them.
Yeah, so true. Hey, speaking of that, I had written down a quick note on CRS week. Are there promotional materials in our state leader area? I'm hoping.
I'm sure there are, but I'm here with interim CEO Keith Tristano. He's here attending the event with me today and tomorrow. And so I will ask them, I'm going to make a note of it right now on my phone, promotional items in your state leader. Okay.
Because I imagine that the VAs will have stuff available to send out, but I'm just thinking right now, like my little team in EXP, I'm in a number of different WhatsApp groups for agents, and I would love to have a graphic and the dates and the registration link readily available. So it probably is. We all struggle to get into that state leader part of the website.
I will not only get it, but I will email it to you, and then you can disseminate that to everybody that's on the call today.
Perfect. Love that. And Rory has a question, and then I think we're going to have to wrap up. Rory, go ahead.
So Pam, I'm also very interested in professional development, as you know, and I was wondering, other than the RRC education, our certification certificates, and of course our designation, how can we inspire as RRC our members to pursue professional development? How do you recommend that? Is that something when you become president that you will focus on as kind of the cross education, other education that's out there that results in certifications or designations?
Well, Rory, you know that we have 7 certifications, and I believe you've got every single one of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's really important that our members understand and know that, getting the CRS designation does not stop there. You always need to keep learning. If you learn, you grow. And if you don't, you won't. So I think it's very important that we keep encouraging. And, Rory, it baffles me why people don't sign up for the webinar bundle. I don't know if any of you have it, but it's over 50 free webinars. Well, I shouldn't say free because you pay for it with your dues, but it's like $199 and you get all these webinars. I have learned so much. I'll literally play the recording while I'm getting ready for work that morning. And I listen to them over and over again, some more than others. But the free webinar bundle, we really need to promote to our members. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. And we try to make it easy for people to learn. We've got e-learning courses. You've got paid webinars. I always tell anybody, if you're interested in CRS, you need to become a member first so that you can capitalize on all the discounts you get as a member in order to take your classes, whether they be in person, over Zoom, or through webinar or e-learning. So yeah, obviously that is the foundation of CRS is education. And we need to promote it, not just to our 20-something thousand members, just under 30,000 members, but to every realtor needs to understand what we have to offer and what it will do for their business. Does that answer your question, Rory?
Yes, thank you.
You
Yeah,
bet.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, Pam, from your busy schedule. I know that our members and everyone that attended today has really benefited from getting to know you a little bit better and from your wisdom. We really appreciate that. We're all looking forward to next year when we will call you Madam President. We cannot wait. Look forward to seeing you in Orlando. And thank you again to everyone who has joined us today. This, again, will be posted on our YouTube channel. It is on our Facebook Live as well. And have a great month. We'll see you next month.
Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate you. Take care.
Oh, and not too late to register for Summer Soiree this Wednesday.
Hey, 5 to 7
Oh,
is
we'll
your turn.
be there. Take
Yeah.
care, y'all. Have a great afternoon.
All right. Oops, I forgot to